Hello lovely theater kids, and welcome back to another London vlog here on TheatreInspired. Hello, this is Allie in the editing room, apologizing now for the terrible lighting in this video. It seemed fine, and then I put it on my computer and it was just gross. This week I wanted to give you a review of my trip to the West End's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Alright, the first thing I want to talk about is the music. Now, I absolutely loved growing up the original Willy Wonka with Gene Wilder. Now, although there was only one song from that original Willy Wonka in this show, which was Pure Imagination, I did really enjoy the music. At times, I do wish there were more songs brought in from the original, but I thought all of the new ones were amazing and it showcased the characters really well. I loved the story time about Willy Wonka with the grandparents singing in their bed, and it was so much fun, and it gave a little insight to like all of their personalities, and it was really great. My favorite song, however, had to be Pure Imagination, mostly because it's a very classic song and I absolutely love it, but mostly because it was the song that elicited a really emotional response from me. I was in the nosebleeds of nosebleeds up in the top balcony, but I still sat there with tears streaming down my face to hear that song again. Because I haven't listened to that song since I was maybe like 13, the last time I saw that movie. And it brought back a lot of childhood memories and like the elements of imagination from children and how important that is, and it made me cry happy tears, honestly. And it was one of the best feelings I have ever felt listening to a song in theater, and it was just absolutely amazing. Alright, so I've decided that I'm going to be rating each of these segments out of 10. So for the music, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I loved the new music, I loved the addition of Pure Imagination, but there were times where I wish some of the more classic songs from the previous adaptations had been used. Like, as much as I loved Don't You Pinch Me Charlie, I would have much rather have heard I've Got a Golden Ticket. Alright, now for the acting in general. Everybody in this show gave a top-notch performance. Jonathan Slinger as Willy Wonka, I will say this now, gave Christian Borle very big shoes to fill, in my opinion. Jonathan Slinger, in my opinion, combined all of the likable qualities of both Johnny Depp and Gene Wilder's Wonkas and meshed them together. Like, I know Johnny Depp gets a lot of flack for his portrayal of Willy Wonka, but there were some elements of Johnny Depp's Wonka that I really loved and found very funny, and he being Jonathan Slinger brought those to light, but also kept Gene Wilder's like very serious persona at the same time, which I absolutely loved. Like, in my opinion, after watching both films, if you could put Johnny Depp's Wonka and Gene Wilder's Wonka together, it would be the perfect Willy Wonka. And I think Jonathan Slinger did that, and I cannot wait to see how Christian Borle does on Broadway with that role. I want to see what he brings to it and how he compares to the original Wonka that I saw. Okay, so all of the kids in this show were incredible. It's basically, I felt like I was going to see Matilda again because of like the level of talent that these children have. They are amazing, they all have incredible voices, and they portray their characters so well. Charlie Bucket was adorable. He is the kid that like you just want to root for so bad. He played like the heart of gold kid so well, and I absolutely loved that kid. And one of my favorite moments of the show is I saw it on a Wednesday matinee, so there were a lot of school groups and there were a lot of kids who like hadn't either like read the book or seen any of the movies, and it was really magical to me to sit there, and when Charlie pulls out his golden ticket to hear those kids be like, oh, he got it, like that to me like was the cutest thing, to see the reaction on his face when he got the golden ticket, and like hearing the reactions of the kids around me. It was really, really special. And now for the adult actors. Now, there were so many ensemble members, and I just want to point out a couple of my favorites. I loved Mrs. TV. Like, this woman, I forget her name off the top of my head right now, but she made me want to be Mrs. TV as a dream role, because she is so eccentric and funny, and there are moments when she's just a little loopy, and I loved it. It's a great like character performance, and I really want to try that. And of course, how can you forget Grandpa Joe? Grandpa Joe is like the all-star of Willy Wonka. Love him. Always love Grandpa Joe. Alright, so for the acting for this show, I have to give it a 10 out of 10. It was so believable, everybody enjoyed it, everybody had fun with it, and you felt like you were put into Roald Dahl's book thanks to these actors. Now, the last thing I wanted to go over is technical elements. I loved the tech elements of this show. Every little bit of the factory was spellbinding. There's all these bright colors and like big flashy visuals, and the set itself keeps you entertained. And one thing I really enjoyed in the first act is when they're all sitting around the bucket house, the way they did the television was they basically wheeled out this giant television up behind the Bucket family, and inside the television the actors would, like, they would bring the screen up and the actors would be standing in there, and that's how they would do the television interviews with the kids when they won their golden ticket. And I thought that was really interesting, and it just seemed like a really fun concept to do, and I would give this show a 10 out of 10 for technical elements. Alright, so that is my review of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I absolutely loved it. Overall, I would give this show a 9.5 out of 10. The only reason I'm giving it a 9.5 is because of what I stated earlier with music from the original. Now, I highly recommend you go see it in London if you have the opportunity, or go see it on Broadway when you get that chance. I absolutely loved it. I know I will be seeing it on Broadway with Christian Borle and seeing how both of them stack up. And I hope you really enjoyed this review. Tune in on Thursday for another theater-inspired video, and I hope to see you next week. Bye! Hey guys, what are we doing?
We're going to the top of the Eiffel Tower.
Yes, we are. It was closed. Yes, it was closed today, but now at night we are going to the top and we are going to see Paris with lights.
The nightlife.
I don't know how.